First contact and discovery. The skies above New Zealand's South Island erupted with color on what had been an ordinary Tuesday night. Dr. Ilara Voss stood transfixed on the observatory deck, her coffee forgotten in her hand as the atmosphere rippled with impossible hues of violet and silver. The atmospheric disturbance coalesced into geometric patterns that defied human understanding before three massive vessels materialized through what could only be described as tears in reality itself. Systems detecting multiple objects in low Earth orbit, announced the observatory's eye assistant. Configuration unknown. Mass estimates exceed anything in our database. Ilara's colleague, Dr. Marcus Chen, was already frantically contacting every major space agency and government. They're positioning themselves above major population centers, he reported, voice tight with controlled panic. One over Auckland, another over Tokyo, a third above Rio de Janeiro. Within hours, the world's militaries had scrambled jets, activated defense systems, and moved to high alert. News networks worldwide broadcast footage of the alien vessels, each the size of a small city, hovering silently above Earth's atmosphere. Then, simultaneously across the planet, every electronic device capable of displaying an image showed the same message in local languages. We come in peace. The Galactic Alliance welcomes Earth to the interstellar community. Prepare for diplomatic contact at these coordinates. 3 days later, Ilara found herself aboard a hastily assembled international team at a temporary facility in neutral Switzerland. As one of Earth's leading xenobiologists, though until now her work had been entirely theoretical, she was positioned behind the primary diplomatic team. The door to their conference room slid open, revealing the first aliens humanity would ever meet face to face. The beings called themselves the Vidorians, representatives of the Galactic Alliance that spanned over 300 star systems. They stood upright like humans, but moved with unsettling grace, as if gravity affected them differently. Their skin had a subtle metallic sheen that shifted colors with their movements, and their 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, blinked independently of each other. Ambassador Trell of the Vidorians approached the human delegation with measured steps. "We have observed your world for some time," their translator device conveyed in perfect English. "Your species has progressed remarkably quickly from primitive technology to space exploration. The Alliance Council has voted to initiate formal contact and offer Earth provisional membership." The following weeks brought a carefully orchestrated diplomatic dance. The Vidorians shared limited technological information, enough to demonstrate their advanced capabilities without giving humans anything that could be immediately weaponized. They spoke of galactic trade routes, shared scientific knowledge, and cultural exchange programs. Earth's nations, despite their differences, formed a unified response team to handle these unprecedented negotiations. What the humans didn't know was that aboard the Vidorian flagship, a very different conversation was taking place. "Their physiology is concerning," Science Director Len stated, displaying human biological scans on the ship's main viewer. "Their endurance exceeds anything in the Alliance database. They can continue functioning after injuries that would incapacitate most sentient species." Military Commander Krov studied footage of human sporting events and military training exercises. "They deliberately subject themselves to physical stress for entertainment," he noted. "Their combat simulations are disturbingly realistic, and their historical archives." He displayed images from Earth's many wars. "They've been fighting continuously throughout their recorded history." Ambassador Trell made a gesture that expressed deep concern. "Their technology is primitive, but their learning curve is steep. The psychological profile indicates dangerous levels of curiosity combined with territorial aggression." "The Council must be informed," Len concluded. "These humans represent a potential threat to Alliance stability." "Or," Krov countered, "they might be exactly what we need against the Void Collective." The ambassador's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of surprise. "You can't be serious. The containment protocols exist for species like this. The void expands closer to Alliance space each cycle," Krov reminded them. Our forces are stretched thin. The human capacity for warfare, their resilience, their unpredictable tactics, these could be assets, not threats. After much debate, a compromise was reached. The Vidorians would continue peaceful overtures while secretly assessing human military potential. A cultural exchange program would be established to bring select humans aboard Alliance vessels for observation. 6 months after first contact, Captain Maya Rodriguez of the United Earth Defense Force received an unusual assignment. She and a handful of other military personnel from different nations were invited to participate in an interspecies cooperation initiative aboard the Vidorian ship Eternal Harmony. Maya had no illusions about the nature of this cultural exchange. As a former Special Forces operative who had seen action in the resource wars of the 2030s, she recognized a military assessment when she saw one. What puzzled her was why a species capable of faster-than-light travel and energy manipulation technology would have any interest in human warfare. The answer came sooner than expected. 2 weeks into their stay aboard the Eternal Harmony, the ship's alarm systems activated without warning. Maya and the other human guests were rushed to secure quarters, but not before she glimpsed frantic activity among the Vidorian crew and caught fragments of translated communications. Border Outpost Lumina 7 has gone silent. Void signatures detected. Casualties estimated at 3,000 Alliance personnel. Later that night, Commander Croft personally visited the human quarters. His metallic skin had darkened to a deep bronze, a sign of distress in Vidorian physiology. "There are things you haven't been told," he admitted. "The Alliance faces an existential threat. We call them the Void Collective, a species that consumes all life in its path. They've destroyed 17 systems in the past decade, and they're advancing toward Alliance core worlds." Maya studied the alien commander. "And you want our help? Why? Your technology is centuries beyond ours." "Technology isn't everything in warfare," Croft replied. "The Void adapts quickly to our tactics. They assimilate and improve upon anything they encounter. But humans," his 4 eyes fixed on Maya with unsettling intensity, "humans fight differently. You continue when logic says you should surrender. You improvise when plans fail. You make decisions that our strategic algorithms consider irrational, yet somehow succeed." "You're saying you need our irrationality," Maya stated flatly. "We need warriors," Croft corrected. "And for better or worse, your species excels at warfare in ways the Alliance has evolved beyond." The following day, security footage from the Eternal Harmony was transmitted to Earth's leaders, revealing the truth of the Alliance's interest in humanity. Far from the peaceful coalition they presented themselves as, the Alliance was a civilization under siege, desperately seeking new advantages in an interstellar war they were slowly losing. And they saw humans as potential weapons to be deployed against their enemy. The Proving Ground. The training facility orbiting Saturn's moon Titan was unlike anything humans had ever built. Constructed by Vidorian engineers in just 3 weeks, it combined Alliance technology with accommodations suitable for human physiology. Captain Maya Rodriguez and 23 other elite soldiers from Earth's various military forces arrived aboard an Alliance shuttle, their faces reflecting both awe and suspicion. Commander Krog greeted them in the central chamber, his metallic skin now a determined shade of copper. "Welcome to what we call the Proving Ground," he announced through his translator. "Here, you will train alongside Alliance specialists and learn to operate our defensive systems. But more importantly, we will learn from you." The training regimen was brutal by any standard. The humans were pushed to their physical and mental limits, forced to adapt to alien technology, while teaching Alliance instructors about human combat methodologies. Maya quickly emerged as the unofficial leader of the Earth contingent, her tactical acumen earning reluctant respect from even the most skeptical Vidorians. What the humans didn't initially realize was that every training session, every casual conversation, every stress response, was being meticulously recorded and analyzed by Alliance scientists. Hidden sensors monitored their physiological reactions, brain activity, and decision-making processes. Their stress hormones actually enhance their combat performance. Science Director Len reported to the Alliance Council, displaying neural scans. When Vadorian soldiers experience fear, our cognitive functions decrease by approximately 18%. When humans experience fear, their reaction times improve by nearly 12%. And their adaptability is remarkable, added strategic analyst Pell. We altered the training scenarios without warning 16 times. Each time, the humans developed new countermeasures within minutes. They call it thinking outside the box, a concept our tactical systems struggle to quantify. Meanwhile, among the human trainees, suspicions grew about the true nature of their cultural exchange. "They're studying us like lab rats," muttered Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka, a former Japanese self-defense force operator, as he and Maya reviewed the day's exercises. "Have you noticed how they keep changing the parameters without explanation?" Maya nodded. "And they're particularly interested when we improvise. It's like they're testing not just what we can do, but how we think." Before they could discuss further, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red emergency lighting bathed the corridors as Vadorian crew members rushed to battle stations. Maya and Hiroshi exchanged glances before sprinting toward the command center. They arrived to find Commander Krov issuing rapid-fire orders, his skin now a deep, dark bronze. On the main display, a distant Alliance outpost was under attack. The attacker, a massive, shifting mass of darkness interspersed with flashes of sickly green energy, was consuming the outpost piece by piece. "The Void Collective," Krov acknowledged when he noticed the humans. "They'd breached the Orion defense line 3 cycles ahead of our projections. This outpost houses 10,000 civilians and a research division developing new shield technology." Maya studied the tactical display. "Your reinforcements." 8 hours away at maximum speed," Krov replied grimly. "By then, nothing will remain." Maya exchanged looks with the other Earth soldiers who had gathered in the command center. "What about us? You've been training us on your weapon systems." The command center fell silent as all 4 of Krov's eyes fixed on her. "You're suggesting we deploy your team? You've had less than a month of training with our technology. But we have a lifetime of experience with something your people seem to have forgotten," Maya countered. "Asymmetric warfare. Fighting against superior forces and winning." After a tense debate, a desperate decision was made. The human team would deploy to the besieged outpost, not as primary defenders, but as a special tactics unit to evacuate the civilians, while Alliance forces engaged the main Void forces. What happened next would fundamentally alter the Galactic Alliance's understanding of their new human allies. Upon arrival, the human team took one look at the battle situation and promptly disregarded the carefully constructed Alliance battle plan. Instead of following standard evacuation protocols, Maya split her team into 3 units. The first, led by Hiroshi, used Alliance energy weapons in ways they were never designed to be used, overloading them to create massive energy bursts that temporarily disoriented the Void entities. The second team, led by former Russian Spetsnaz operative Yulia Petrov, modified the outpost's atmospheric regulators to flood sections with gases harmless to most Alliance species, but caustic to the Void's biological components. The third team, under Maya's direct command, secured the civilians and research data through maintenance tunnels that the Void had overlooked. From the command ship, Alliance officers watched in astonishment as the humans implemented tactics that their strategic computers had deemed illogical and self-destructive. Yet somehow, improbably, it was working. The Void forces, accustomed to the predictable responses of Alliance defenders, seemed confused by the chaotic human approach. "They're not retreating as our models predicted," reported an Alliance tactical officer, bewilderment evident in their voice. "The humans are deliberately drawing Void units into ambush positions using themselves as bait." Indeed, Maya's team had recognized something about the Void that Alliance tactical systems had missed. The collective entity prioritized targets based on perceived threat level, not strategic value. By making themselves conspicuous threats, the humans diverted attention from the evacuating civilians. The cost was high. Of the 24 humans deployed, 7 suffered serious injuries. But against all Alliance projections, not a single human casualty occurred, and 97% of the outpost's civilians were safely evacuated, along with the critical shield research data. In the aftermath, as Alliance medical teams treated the injured humans, Commander Krav found Maya in the observation deck, staring out at the stars. "Your tactics violated 17 Alliance combat principles," he stated, his skin now a complex pattern of bronze and silver. "You risk your own lives unnecessarily. You modify our technology without authorization." A pause. "And you save thousands of lives that our models had written off as lost." Maya turned to face him. "That's the difference between your people and mine, Commander. Your civilization has evolved beyond the brutality that shaped human history. You fight wars with algorithms and projections. We fight them with blood, instinct, and the absolute refusal to accept defeat." Krov's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "The Alliance Council is reconsidering humanity's role in galactic affairs. Some still argue for containment, that humans are too unpredictable, too dangerous to be given access to advanced technology. Others now believe you may be the key to defeating the Void." "And what do you believe?" Maya asked. The commander's skin shifted to a color Maya had never seen before, a deep, midnight blue with flecks of gold, like a starfield. "I believe the galaxy has just discovered its hidden war gods," he said quietly, "and I'm not certain whether to be terrified or grateful." As news of the human victory spread throughout Alliance space, perceptions began to shift. The species that had been viewed with suspicion and fear was now being discussed with cautious hope. Humans, violent, unpredictable, resilient humans, might just be exactly what the galaxy needed in its darkest hour. On Earth, leaders debated the implications of their new role in galactic politics. Were they being manipulated as expendable shock troops? Or was this humanity's opportunity to prove their worth to an advanced civilization that had initially dismissed them? For Captain Maya Rodriguez and her surviving team members, the question was simpler. Whether the Alliance feared them or needed them didn't matter. What mattered was that there were people, human or alien, who needed protection from an existential threat. And if there was one thing humans had perfected throughout their bloody history, it was standing against seemingly impossible odds and somehow prevailing. The war gods of the galaxy had awakened, and the Void Collective would soon learn what countless human adversaries had discovered throughout history. Underestimating humanity's capacity for warfare was a fatal mistake.